Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and I am creating just because I can, and this one I'm just doing as an inspiration. It was a layout that I did use a pre-made base for, and you can see that here. And I decided that the colours just matched beautifully with my daughter's engagement photos. They were taken almost 3 years ago now. We were out at Katoomba, and her husband, who was her boyfriend at that time, proposed to her, and we were fortunate enough to be there as well. And I just wanted to capture that moment for her. So I have had the photo sitting there for a while, so I'm just playing around with the paper now and just building some complementary support for that photo range. I have this chipboard from Scrapbook Fantasies, and what I was doing for this, I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle because it was the engagement time, and so I just put the heading just add glitter, and then I've got the double heart chipboard there and the ring chipboard, and what I'm doing is I'm just adding in some blue for the moment, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put it all together with the gold foil flex. So I now have got my title and my chipboard pieces nice and tacky, and now I can put in this gold foil, and this stuff gets everywhere, so it's very fly away, so you have to do it in a controlled environment so it's not going everywhere. It is foiled, and it is poisonous if you leave it lying around for animals and things, so I always make sure that I've got it in a very controlled space when I'm using it. I'm just putting lots of the flex on so that it just coats that chipboard beautifully, giving it that gold shimmer, and I'm making sure that I'm covering up all the glue pieces as well, and using a dry brush to do this so that it just sticks and then breaks away where it's not required on the chipboard, as you can see. And it does shimmer down, really scrunch up to tiny pieces, which is great because you can use those little flecks to just fill in the glue gaps. And you see how quickly and easily this colours up your chipboard and adds that little bit of sparkle. I do like using the foil on the chipboard, and I like the effect that it has. Now you'll notice here I've got some dry spots that don't have any of the gold on it, and so I'm adding a little bit here to my fingernails because some of it already stuck. So I'm going to have some gold flecks on my nails while I'm at it, and I'll just use what's left. That was unintentional. I just had some stick to the nails, so I thought, well, why not go the whole hog and do it properly? And I've just stuck my nails in there and brush off the excess, and now I've got a little bit of flecks of gold on the nails. Looks like I've done a great nail job at the salon, but I actually just tipped it myself. Here's a bit more glue there, just top that up. There you go. Oh, there you go. You get an extra manicure part into the layout. I'm sure that's not what you wanted to see, but anyhow, that's what I've done. I'm just cleaning up the edges now, and I use that dry brush to do that. That makes it nice and smooth. As I said, these are my daughter's engagement photos. We went to Katoomba. They had a dinosaurs display on through the mountains as we were walking through the scenic route, and that was when my now son-in-law chose to propose to my daughter, and it was just a very special day. So I'm just cleaning up the edges here to make sure that they're nice and smooth. You'll see that my title did split on this chipboard. I find that happens sometimes, especially when it's a fine cut, but I've kept it all and done it all together. Now I'm just brushing off all of this gold because, as I said, it is poisonous if it's left floating around, so I clean it up and make sure that I get it all away. I'm just going to single matte the photos, and I've used white to break up the colours on the layout. As I said, this was a pre-made base. I shall put a link to where I did that for you here, so please, if you're interested, you can go and see how those bases came together. And I like that I can put so many photos onto a pre-made base without having to think so much, and it's amazing really when you make them that you don't know what direction they're going to take, and then when you put it all together, it's like you started from scratch at the time that you found your photos. So I'm going to pop up this little one here, put that down there, and making it a 3-photo layout. I just love how this has come together. As I said, when I first constructed this base, I had no idea what I was going to do, and then I just have finally thought about putting things together. And so I've done a lot of those for keeping it simple sometimes on a Thursday. So just go and check out the whole range of those in that playlist that I have linked in my description box down below. I'm just tucking in the title there, put it together, and now I'm going to add the ring there as a cluster point, and I'm going to put the hearts there as another cluster point. So you can see how this is coming together nice and easy. Now I have these foam thicker stickers with words and sentiments, and I'm just going to put some hearts. That one says XO. I'll put this one in here. Love begins here, it says. I'm going to put, this is our happy place, because they often go back up there. That's where they had their first date together. That's where they got engaged. So they often go up there and spend special time together. And they're better together. And they really are. They're a funny couple. And my son-in-law just fits so well into the family. And it just is coming together. Such a pretty layout, and I would not have thought that that would have been possible when I first put these pieces together, which is very, very bizarre. I always am amazed at how a pre-made base just seems to suit the photos when you put it all together. And I'm adding some little butterflies as little pieces here just to build out those clusters. And I just love how the colours complement the photo so well, and it was like I had pre-thought about it, and I can tell you that that is not the case. This base sat for ages before I actually did anything with it, and then I just fussy cut little pieces out of the papers that were left over from the originals, and I kept together for this layout. So there you see I have put that together quite easily. I'm just going to put in the date and a little bit of a journaling sentence of what this was. This will go to my daughter. She can put it in her album that I'm creating for the two of them. I'm slowly adding over time for them, and just so that they've got their memories and their family memories started together, and they too can have their albums to reminisce over. My son-in-law actually likes that I'm doing this. He likes to have the photo memories presented this way, which is really nice, and so the tradition will live on. And here we go with my pops of colour. You know, I love my pops of colour to fill out my embellishment clusters and titles here. Putting in sets of 3 to set up that visual triangle, and I'm just going to flick underneath, and that flattens them out to create that enamel dot sort of process. So here are some close-ups, as you can see, looking at those corner pieces, the photos, the clusters. I just love the gold fleck foil. It looks just amazing on that chipboard. Gives it just enough sparkle and just enough to reflect the gold in the papers. You can see it's not that thick in dimension, but it does have some depth to it. So that's my layout, just because I can and just because I wanted to share. Here's some close-ups of those gold flecked foiled pieces. I hope something here earns the thumbs up and you've been inspired to get scrappy today. Happy scrappy everyone. Here's my next video for you, and I will see you over there soon.